Hello everyone, and welcome back to Does House. As you can see by the title of the video, we're going to be making banana muffins. So before we get started, just a few quick tips. The bananas, you will need 3 very ripe bananas. So what I end up doing, because as I tell my friends, I have a banana cemetery in my freezer. So I usually end up buying a bunch of bananas, right, to eat, and usually 1 or 2 start to go brown before I get to it. And I really don't like bananas when they are too banana-y in taste, if you know what I mean. So those bananas then will go into my freezer, where they will actually get even browner, which is really what you want for this type of recipe for banana muffins. You really can't use bananas that are still yellow. So then I take them out of the freezer. You need 3 for this recipe. I take 3 out, I let them thaw, then you just peel them. They're going to be quite mushy, which is great because it'll incorporate into the recipe much easier. And I put them in a sieve just to let the extra liquid drain off. I don't push it through the sieve or anything. It's really just to get that little bit of extra liquid off. So, you know, it might be a tablespoon or 2, but it makes a difference. So that's standing by. The shortening that you need is 1/2 cup. So there's several ways you can do this. The original recipe is just 1/2 cup of straight butter. Then I have a friend who makes muffins, and she actually substitutes half the butter in her recipe for oil. So I tried that out and it worked out very well, and it actually made them a bit moister. So, and you can play with that proportion however you like. I believe she uses all oil at this point, but and she uses olive oil. So for me, I find that leaves a little bit of olivey taste, which I'm not always crazy about. So I've been doing 1/2 and 1/2, or 3/4 and 1/4, the 3/4 being butter. And I'm also using olive oil, which I never thought I would bake with olive oil, but it's actually quite good. You could use another oil if you like, it's not a problem. So I think we're about ready. Yeah, so let's add our shortening. So this is my oil, the amount of oil I'm using with the butter. And we're going to blend that with a cup of sugar. So I'm going to put the machine down, lock it in, and give this a mix. Sorry, I just want to say off the top that you should use room temperature butter. Hard butter is very hard to incorporate, so keep that in mind. Take your butter out before you're going to be using it. So as you can see at this stage, the butter and the sugar is soft. Just going to scrape down my bowl. And at this stage, we can add our vanilla. I'm going to add a teaspoon, but I just eyeball it and put a little extra, it's fine. So that's a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to mix this in, and then we will add 2 whole eggs. One egg. 2 eggs. So now the 2 eggs are mixed in. I'm going to put my machine up just so that I can show you. See, it's very creamy right now. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Hit the camera. It's very creamy right now, which is what you want. Let's just get everything off the bottom, make sure there's no butter sitting there. So now to this, did it again, sorry. we're going to add our bananas. So I just wanted to show you. Move this out of the way. So here's what the bananas look like. I just have them sitting in the sieve. I shook it a little bit, you know, maybe back and forth 10 times just to get whatever extra liquid there is, but they're still quite wet, and that's what you want because that's what imparts moisture to the muffins. So back to the bowl, we're going to just dump this in. And again, we will mix this together. So there we go, that's already incorporated. Let me just clean up a bit here. So now you're going to add the dry mix. The dry mix, very simple. There you go. It's 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, a pinch of sugar, and a teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to start the mixer on low again, and we're just going to add all this in. There we go. And we're off on low. Bit. This recipe will absorb it fairly quickly because it's a wet dough to begin with. And that's it. That's all of it. Speed it up a bit. There we go. So this is your basic recipe. You can put this now in your muffin tins and bake it. Incidentally, your oven should be preheated to 350 degrees. You can make this as a loaf. If you make it as a loaf, it should bake for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. But again, everybody's oven is different. So keep an eye on it. I'd say starting at the 50-minute mark. When a toothpick comes out fairly dry, you're good. The top should be a nice golden brown. If you do it in muffin cups, which is what I will be doing, it bakes obviously for less time. I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not quite sure how long I bake it. I think it's 15 minutes, but I'll tell you at the end of the video how long it took in my oven. Again, at 350 degrees on the middle rack. So you can do it like this, leave them plain, or at this stage you can add whatever you like. So a lot of people like chocolate chips in their cupcakes. I do that actually most of the time now. The amount is totally up to you. I would say I usually probably end up adding, I would say 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, but I have another friend who adds way more than that. You can add less if you just want a little pop here and there. You could be adding pecans, you could add walnuts, you know, a softer nut, a nut that will be softer when it bakes. I wouldn't do almonds, that'll be too hard. And or you could add another kind of chocolate, and that's what I'll be doing today. So today, because I've run out of chocolate chips, I will just add some white chocolate chunks that I have chopped with a serrated knife. We're just going to fold that in really quickly. And that's it. So there we go, that's done. That's the recipe done. I'll come back. I'm going to use an ice cream scoop to fill my muffin tin, but you can just use 2 tablespoons. That works just as fine. Just try to keep them even. All right, now we're going to put the dough into our muffin cups. So here I'm just using an ice cream scoop. The size of your ice cream scoop will depend on the size of your muffin tin. So this one, I'm gonna say, you know what, I don't even want to tell you guys. Let's see how far it fills up a muffin tin. So there we go. You want it to come almost to the top, but keep in mind they will be rising, so you don't want it quite at the top. And this is really the quickest method, but like I said, if you don't have an ice cream scoop, no big deal. Get yourself 2 tablespoons and just do it that way. Just that this makes the job quicker, that's all. Our great-grandmothers didn't have all the tools we have today, and they still managed to bake wonderful recipes, so don't worry if you don't have all the latest. So that's 12 muffins right there. I have some extra, so let's just show you really quick. I also have silicone. So silicone, you don't need the muffin tins. I might be able to get, let's see if we can get 2 more. You don't need the muffin papers, I'm sorry. Because they will pop out quite easily. Whereas for the muffin tin, the metal muffin tin, if you don't have papers, I would definitely grease and maybe even flour them so that your muffins will pop out easier. Obviously, if you're using papers, you don't need to grease or flour anything. They'll just pop right out. So that looks good. That's about all. So this recipe would make, that's 14 muffins of this size. Although I really don't, I don't know how to describe what this size is. Yeah, so let's put these in the oven. 350 middle rack. I'm going to tell you how long they take in my oven. Muffins are done in my oven, 23 minutes. So just in case this is your first time baking or your first time making muffins, I just want to show you how to get them out of the tin. I don't want to so I don't want this to seem like, for some of you watching, it's like, oh, well, this is so obvious, but you never know, right? It could be somebody's first time. So in case they're wondering, oh, how am I going to get this out? Is it going to be stuck? How do I not damage the muffins? Whatever it is, let's just show you guys and show you my method anyway. So the first thing I'll do is, once the pan is cooled, it's pretty cool, I'll just tip it over. Let me just get something to put them on. A little plate here to put them on afterwards. I'll just tip it over. Let me just tighten this up. And the ones that fall out, fall out. There we go, everything but one. So, put these on your platter, or whatever it may be. There we go. And what's so nice about these muffins is they're crispy on top. I don't know if you can hear that. They're nice and crispy, but they're nice and soft and moist. You could, if you wanted, go ahead, ice them. Nice chocolate icing or cream cheese icing or vanilla. So this one, the one that didn't pop out, I'll try like this. There we go, pop right out. If it were to be stuck, let's say some of this had baked over onto your tin, just take a knife, go underneath it all the way around, and it'll pop right out. That's that. For these, how to get something out of, it was a bit of a learning curve, even for me. What you want to do, and it seems like you're being really rough, but it doesn't hurt the muffin. So you can't lift it out. Well, I suppose you could. Yeah, no, it doesn't work to try to lift it out like this. They're kind of stuck. So you take the bottom and you literally push. See, I broke that one. It's because the angle is wrong for me. So here, I'll push it from the bottom like I normally do. And then you just pull it out and it's perfect. So you have to be a little rougher with these silicone molds. Let's put that one in there. The broken one will hide away. or I'll eat it before anybody sees the platter. So there we go. Banana muffins 101. Quick, easy. I mean, to make the batter once you have all your ingredients together is literally, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then 23 minutes in the oven, under half an hour, you're good to go. These cooled, I'm gonna say maybe 10-15 minutes. So if you wanna add that time on from start to out the door, you're looking at probably, what, 40 minutes, something like that. Anyway, give these a try. They're always a big hit. My kids love them. And it's an easy way to start your baking journey. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. Please take a moment to hit that button and subscribe. Thumbs up, give it a like, leave a comment. Have a great weekend.